Well, I want to give you the lowdown where the deal is going with the electric cars. Oh, everybody's probably thinking, oh boy, when this comes out, it's going to basically be free. You know, maybe you got to replace the batteries every 10 years, but I can charge my car up anytime I want, maybe even off their solar panels. Nope, 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 nope. And actually, this is where I got to tell you that vigilance is everything. And you know what? You just really can't be freaking dealing with the big corporations. That's what it comes down to. Why? Because they got a bunch of weasel suits in there always plotting to think of ways to freaking get their multi-$100,000 or multi-million-dollar fat salaries and, pump it into their, whatever, man. I got to tell you, I'm just going to ad-lib here in a real second because, amongst the professionals, I've never seen so many males that are owned by their spouses. It's beyond belief, man. Oh, cute talking yo-yos to the max, but they're owned by their spouses, so they got to constantly making more money for them. Anyway, but here this is a Renault, right? It's coming down. This is like an example, Renault Zoe, whatever it is. When you buy, check this out, and you know what? They're going to hit you from all different angles on this deal. This is an example. When you buy a Renault Zoe, or Zoe, I don't know how you say this, it's Z-O-E, the battery is not included. Instead, you sign a rental contract for the battery with the car maker. So, in other words, you got this rental contract, and you have to constantly pay to, it may be a minimal charge, but if you fall behind on the payments, they can disable you from charging your car up. Now, this is on top of all the other stuff that could go wrong with these electric cars, with all this electronic stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you, I think electric cars probably could be made a lot simpler, but you're not going to get it from the corporation. It's going to have to be hands-on. You know what? And there's a hell of a lot less people doing this kind of hands-on work now because, they just want to sit behind a computer and do nothing, pretty more or less, and collect a fat fee. That's where your professional comes in, professional. I don't want to call that, blood-sucking leeches working for the government in one way or the other. But, if you fall behind paying for the rental on the battery, they can just disable the charging capabilities remotely. Now, the thing is, you might think, well, I can get around that. Maybe I can, it's my car. Maybe I can put my own batteries in there or something like that. And you think, well, I can get around that. Well, you know what? What's coming up here is the other thing is the digital rights management. In other words, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, specifically Section 1201, the anti-circumvention provisions. In other words, it makes it illegal for users to circumvent the digital Millennium copyright. In other words, this can be applied to all this complex. Now, I know it's applied to, music and things like that, but it can be applied to, software and all that type of stuff. But software is included in the car. So if you bypass the software to say, well, I'm going to put my own batteries in it, you could still be, in violation of the law. And it could be very easy to determine that because they got everything connected remotely now. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to recommend, I wouldn't buy any of this stuff from any kind of large corporations. It's almost like the technology's good. Like, in other words, I'm a believer in technology, but when it becomes used to control people, hey, it's bad news. Now, also, look at what happened with Tesla. Remember the Tesla fire on a car when it crashed? Now, I'm going to tell you this. If these electric cars get into major accidents, you talk about, I shouldn't even laugh, but what's really, really explosive is these lithium batteries. Whoa, baby. They got all kinds of special procedures that firefighters have to use for them because it's like gasoline is like nothing compared to the intensity of a fire of the lithium batteries. Oh, boy. I don't know. They could probably melt steel for all I know. They get a much higher temperature, and, your car, when it gets smashed pretty bad, it could really be totaled in every freaking sense of the word, where there's nothing even left on it, period. But, it's like, in other words, just to rehash, they're going to make it so they're trying to, if one does it and a consumer accepts it, all you got to do is make it like it's cheap enough to establish the precedent, just like the IRS. You know, how did the IRS come into play? Oh, it was nothing. It was going to just tax the rich or whatever. And you know the thing is, what's bad is the rich are going to be the ones buying this type of stuff, not me. I'll be buying something like this. You know, hey man, Model T hot rod, old school all the way, loud pipes, blow some flames out of there, maybe catch a few electric cars on fire when you're freaking going by them, maybe rattle your electronic circuitry. Hey, how about a 240 volt welder, one the ground wire on one end, and just doing some spot welds on the other side with the electric car, and see how that does with the electronic components in the computers, right? Yeah, baby. I tell you what, man. And you know, besides all this stuff, you know, like we're actually going through this another thing. I talked about, you know, the mini ice age that's coming up, which we have a very, very low magnetosphere, which protects the Earth from solar flares. Hey, one solar flare and all this electronic garbage is out the freaking door, man. That's another thing. But just to reiterate, you know, again, the batteries are not, you're not going to own them. You're going to lease them. And this is what's bad about this, because you know how a lot of this technology is hand-me-down to the middle class? A lot of times the middle class doesn't buy the most expensive stuff right from the beginning and the latest, greatest, and all this type of stuff. What they do is they go ahead and they get it secondhand. They might get it a couple years old or something. So, you know, maybe the electric car would be greatly discounted in a couple years. You know, that'll be enough for the middle class to buy it. But you see how it starts? The ones that buy these things usually in the beginning are the more wealthy people. And they'll be saying, oh, that's nothing. Yeah, I don't even have to bother with the batteries. Oh, that's great. You know, I just lease them. If there's any problem with the batteries, hey, I just go here and they fix them. And, you know, it's a minimal charge. It's saving me money on gasoline, you know. So the wealthy people will bite on this, and this technology is actually going to get out there. But, you know, what my point is, I'm saying is, you're going to, just like everything else out there, how did it start? Pharmaceutical, how did it start with all this other freaking garbage? Oh, man, cute talk and everything else, right? The professionals, oh, yeah. And they always hire people to freaking push their stuff, you know? That's why I'm 100% independent on this channel. I am actually 100% independent. And I look out for these type of things from left field where they could be screwing you over. And I'm telling you, the more you look at things, the more you'll see that old school is the better way to go. Now, the other thing is, you know, how do they pay the road tax? Now, with this older car like this, you're putting gasoline in it. You know, the road tax is paid every time you put gasoline in it. So what's going to happen when you have an electric car? Or an electric car that's that's even charged up by solar panels? Hey, they're not going to be able to collect their gasoline tax. But since everything's electronic and everything's remotely connected, they can just record your mileage anywhere you go and charge your tax off your mileage. And that's been what's been, you know, already being proposed, to actually tax do the road tax per mile. Now with a car like this, you know, you're not going to have to worry about that, but you'll probably be exempt because you'll be like historical vehicle, you know. So I'm going to tell you, you know, it's actually pretty smart to stay with the old cars all the way. And the old cars have plenty of safety, especially if you put these big backup lights in them and flashers and brake lights and stuff, you know, something like, you know, 3 million candle power and you hit the freaking brakes. You know, hey, yo-yo, you can't see that? Like you're blinding them like a alien UFO, right? And, you know, the thing is, they're a lot more fun, too, you know? I mean, what kind of, like, rooster tail fins can you freaking put up with these kind of tires versus a little freaking Econo box? Nothing, you know what I mean? Plus, man, you put some swampers on this baby and some posies, you're going to really go in the snow, baby, you know what I mean? And some freaking truck chains wrapped around the tires, you know, with bolts, instead of buying these expensive chains that you got to buy that are called snow chains. So, you know, like something for like a 5-ton, you know, wrapped around the tires, super swampers. So, you know, you go through the snow while these electronic vehicles will be getting stuck, especially the ones that are pre-programmed to Google cars. So old school is the way to go, baby. You know, that's all I'm going to tell you. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to actually recommend this channel again. I always recommend this channel. DIY Auto School and Pete over at Southwest Rod and Custom. And you might also want to look at Rambling Around, because I saw the Countrywide Classic Cars. I got a few cars, man. I'm probably going to get another one maybe eventually. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm going to get. Probably an older Jeep. Another Jeep or something, a real one though, instead of Suzuki. But the thing is, you're going to have to stick with old school. And you know what? If you're going to, you know what? This is actually a dying art. You know, there's not too many people that actually do stuff hands-on anymore. But, you know, the more you freaking think about it, The more you think about it, the more you realize that old school is the only way to go, and the only way to stay with old school is actually work, real work. The four-letter word. WORK. For real. It's like the professionals don't want to do that. Now, yes, you are a professional when you do auto body work and you do mechanic work, but I can tell you what, right now, you're not a professional like those yo-yos in the offices who just play professional, right? These are true professionals when you do this kind of work. So actually what it's going to come down to is, you're going to have to stay with old school all the way, man. The old caddy. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine like a war of, fender benders with this and one of those plastic Zoes, whatever the hell that thing is, Zoe, whatever that thing is. But the thing is, they're making it so they can remotely shut off your car or your charging system, and that's my whole point. They can remotely shut off your car and your charging system, and they can also make it so they will know if you modified the software with checks. So if you modify the software so you can charge your own car, they'll still screw you that way anyway. The batteries will be encoded or something. They'll know if you swapped batteries or did anything like that, or if you took them out and then you disconnected something, they got a charge or whatever the hell it is, and you bypassed it. And they're making it also so you can't work on your own car. I know they even had the act some years ago, if you remember. That's when they came out with ODB, Onboard Diagnostics 2 in 1996. That you had the Motor Vehicle Owners' Right to Repair Act. Also, that was another thing that was passed even later on in 2003, which is because it was making it almost impossible for independent repair shops to fix cars. But with all this new technology, they're going to really screw the independent shops. I don't like this kind of garbage, man. I mean, to me, it should be the old school. Like when you pulled in the gas station, the guy checks under the hood, he checks the wiper fluid, he cleans your windshield, and if you need to get air in your tires or something like that, doesn't cost any money, and it's a full service station where they actually do repair work. Now it's almost like, self-serve pumping gas and nobody does anything. It's like, everybody's doesn't want to work anymore. Even the mechanics, man, they're a bunch of parts changers, right? They don't rebuild water pumps. They don't rebuild the generators. Generators. That's real old school. The alternators, themselves. They don't go out there and, you got these sealed units with the wheel hubs and stuff. This is all coming about from laziness. I'm going to tell you that right now, man. Even like the old air compressors, man, on the air conditioning, you used to be able to rebuild them. And I'm going to say right now, I'm staying with old school, man. It's like almost like, some of the stuff I got, some of my vehicles, some of the vehicles I got, they were brand new when I bought them, my 89 Harley. And my little Samurai Jeep was only 2 years old when I got it. And I had new vehicles like a Dodge Ram and stuff. But I don't know. I don't buy any. Definitely not buying anything new anymore because of all this computer crap. No way in hell. No way in hell. And it's going to take hands-on effort to freaking put things good. And, I actually recommend, you probably look at, DIY Auto School and some of the stuff that's out there, and also some of the channels he recommends. Like, you got, Rambling Around. I look at his channel, too, because they got some really good deals on these classic cars. But I don't really need another car because I got 4 cars and a motorcycle as it is, But, I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't freaking stick with old school, the corporate assholes in the suits, they're already plotting for ways to screw you over, And I think you just need to stay with old school. And actually, a lot of this technology, it's not that safe. And really, when you think about it, I mean, they always market it as safe. But hey, they market chemotherapy and radiation therapy as safe for cancer, right? And you know what? That's another thing. With all this electronic crap and all this Bluetooth and all these signals all around you and all these, how much electronic garbage, dirt is in that car? I'll just call it dirt, electronic dirt. You're probably in a box that's surrounded by electronic dirt. We realize that even frequencies and different, just being near some of these devices that are electronic, like cell phones and things like that, and wireless transmission, we realize that it actually affects the cellular structure of the body in subtle ways over long periods of time. It can actually be very detrimental. It could be good if it's done the right way. But you know what? With this vehicle that's just transportation, you know what's going to happen. It's not done with the human in mind. And if you allow them to even take the reins of power on that, you're really going to be doubly screwed over, because they'll decide who's going to live and who's going to die. That's how extreme this technology can go. But just to recap, again, you're going to rent the batteries. You're not going to be able to modify the batteries. You're not going to be able to modify the vehicle. You're not going to be able to modify the software to use your own batteries. They're going to make it so complex that, you know, they're going to knock out the independent shops. And if you fall behind the payments on the battery rental, you're going to lose they can remotely shut off the ability of the car to charge. And then on top of that, since they're not going to be collecting road taxes through fuel, gasoline or diesel fuel, what's going to happen is you're going to have a road tax being charged to you electronically. Well, they'll remotely be able to know exactly how many miles you drove, and you'll be sent a bill and probably have your account debited every month for that charge. So me, actually, you know, one of the things I really think the best thing is actually a diesel. A diesel, put your own vegetable oil in it, and grow your own freaking hemp oil, whatever the hell it is, peanut oil, whatever. Fill it up, and you got a grease car. You know what I mean? It runs on for free, no road tax or anything. You know, you really can't crack gasoline very easily from, you know, just from crude oil. But as far as just running a diesel will run off any damn thing there is. So, you know, actually where I'm leaning to the future is probably a diesel rat rod Jeep with 4-wheel drive, or a short bed short bed pickup truck with 4-wheel drive, you know, and running a diesel in it, like a Cummins 6-cylinder 12-valve, you know, with no turbo. So anyway, just want to put it out this to you that you know, if they really are going to screw you, and the wealthy people will be buying the fancy crap in the beginning, and they won't care. You stick with your old hot rods, and don't succumb to their bullshit advertisement, because you know what? The way I look at it is nobody buys that electronic garbage when you say the wealthy people buy it from, you know, the new big manufacturers. If nobody buys that electronic garbage, nobody wants it. Well, they're going to be stuck with it, and they let them get freaking jammed. You know what I mean? Or let the few people that buy it get jammed with it. But if most of the people stick true to the cause and stay independent all the way, you know, you'll be fine. They can't screw you over. But you know what? It's that 4-letter word. It's you know, work, W-O-R-K. You know, W-O-R-K. You got to actually work physically. Not like one of the desk jockeys that call themselves professionals, because I've seen plenty of that stuff. Cute talking, and they'll do anything. So anyway, if you want, you know, check out just one guy's channel. I always check out his DIY Auto School and the Southwest Rod and Custom, and I always look at classic cars that Rambling Around's got featured on there. And even Jay Leno, man, except he's got stuff that's like so ridiculously exotic, like I ain't gonna buy that in a million years. Crazy. But he's all right for a rich guy. But anyway, just want to warn you ahead of time, because I do a lot of research, and I look around and I say, you know, what's coming up on the future here? And you know, being that I'm one of the predators, but I'm out for you guys. I am one of the predators. I am. I understand how these guys think on it with the money. I do. And it's not drama. They're just going for as much as they can. I mean, they'll talk cute all the way. I'm not major media or alternative media in the least. And you're going to see some wild shit from I'm going to be put out. Maybe it's going to be a little bit dangerous in the future here. But, you know, like I said, I'm 110% independent all the way. I don't kowtow to nobody. And that's really why I'm doing this YouTube, because otherwise I'd just be in here with the professionals raking in $150 an hour billing rate. Understand? Understand that. I'm out for you guys all the way. No bullshitting around.